Going on another journey now.
Yeah.
Hi, brothers and sisters.
Hi there.
Here we are
Yep.
together, and Mark's going to take us through circumcision.
Circumcision. Alrighty. This new article came up last week. A couple of days ago.
Mula Mulaw.
What?
Mula Mulaw.
It's the Hebrew understanding.
Mula. Go for it, Queen of Hebrew.
Circumcision. Primitive root to cut short, that is curtail, specifically to
Prepuce.
prepuce.
What's prepuce?
Yeah, don't know.
Circumcision.
That is
Yeah,
to
circumcise.
circumcise. There you
Yeah,
go.
right.
It tells
Prepuce.
us.
Have you been prepuced?
By implication.
Yeah. Is your implication prepuce?
Figuratively, to destroy, circumcise, circumcising, circumcise selves, cut down in pieces, destroy, must needs, in the sense of cropping,
In sense of cropping.
the head of grain as cut off here.
Just a short back and side crop, please. Just a little off the sides, not the tip.
They're just being crazy now.
Nice blend, please.
Okay, so what do you understand about that?
I don't know, we're being silly.
No, I mean,
It just means to
I mean,
cut.
go for it. What do you get out of the Hebrew word that circumcision means?
Cut something
To
off
cut.
and destroy it.
Just
Yeah,
basically
to
to
get
cut
rid
it.
of it.
Cut in a circular motion. Cut. Circum is a circle. Cut in a circle. Cut it off, destroy it.
Yep,
Hmm.
I think that's about it, don't you?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Very good. So we understand from the Hebrew word, in the Hebrew language, the first language given to man, Hebrew. Adam spoke Hebrew with Yahuah. So it's good for us to look at what the Hebrew word means so we can go through culture, traditions and everything. So we see from these words what a circumcision is. Okay? Who's next?
In Genesis 17, this is my covenant which you guard between me and you, and your seed after you. Every male child among you is to be circumcised.
All the men have to have the heads of their willies cut off, the skin.
Yeah.
So obviously Yahuah made man that way, didn't he?
Yeah.
With the skin over the top.
Yeah.
Interesting, isn't it?
Why
And
you
it
do
must be in his plan, in his pattern, for us to see something. It's to do with the men, this,
Okay.
not women.
that? Yes.
Even though they do disgusting female circumcisions in some
Oh,
beliefs,
that's not
traditions.
right. Oh, it's about his covenant, he said,
Yeah,
the circumcision.
this is my covenant. And what did they do with the covenant? They broke it. Okay?
And you shall circumcise the flesh of your foreskin, and it shall become a sign of the covenant between me and you. And a son of 8 days is circumcised by you, every male child in your generations. He who is born in your house or bought with silver from any foreigner who is not your seed. He who is born in your house and he who is brought up with silver has to be circumcised.
Bought with
Bought with silver. So shall my covenant be in your flesh for an everlasting covenant. And an uncircumcised male child who is not circumcised in the flesh of his foreskin, his life shall be cut off from his people, he has broken my covenant.
So if you don't do it,
You're cut off.
You're
Yeah.
not part of
If
the
you don't
covenant.
get cut, if you don't get cut and circumcised, you'll be cut off.
yeah, from your people. And that's what he did.
Mm.
Gave them a rule and a law to follow.
Mm.
And that's what they had to do
Yeah.
for a reason and a purpose.
Mm.
Okay, Marky, you do the next one.
Jeremiah 9. See, the days are coming, declares Yahuah, when I shall punish all circumcised with the uncircumcised.
What does that mean? That's a prophecy.
Mm.
Well, that means that basically anyone in the bride who is not behaving the way they are meant to will basically be punished, just as the people who aren't in the bride.
That's a good understanding. There's a bit more fullness in that. Can you two get it?
He doesn't see any difference.
With the uncircumcised.
Yes, he doesn't see any difference.
Behaviour is behaviour. Disobedience, wickedness is wickedness. You want to behave against me, I'll cut you off just like I'll punish you, whether you're circumcised or not. I'll punish you just like I'll punish the uncircumcised. Punish
Yeah.
all of you who are supposedly in covenant, same way I'll punish those that are not in covenant.
So what's he saying about the circumcised and the uncircumcised?
So it's nothing.
What's he going to do to those two different
Treat
He's
them,
grades
going
of
to
people?
punish them both.
treat them equally.
In the prophecy, it's a prophecy that he's saying he's going to punish both of them. It doesn't matter who they are,
Whether they're
circumcised or not.
Well, I think it does go a bit further than that, because if you read it, when the days are coming when I shall punish all circumcised, stop there. I'm going to punish all circumcised with the uncircumcised. Well, circumcised are a special chosen royal nation. I'm going to punish them with the rest of the world. So he's really just letting them know.
So anyone that's uncircumcised and anyone that's circumcised, if they're not behaving how his laws said we are to behave,
Yeah,
they'll be.
Punished.
punished.
So what does it say about circumcision there? That's a prophecy from Jeremiah. What does it say there?
Well, it doesn't matter.
It's for the future.
It doesn't
Jeremiah.
matter whether it's nothing to do with being circumcised. It doesn't matter.
Mm.
He's still going to punish you regardless of whatever.
Yeah.
Yeah.
If you're outside his rules and laws,
Mm.
if you're not living the way he says and behaving the way he says.
Mm.
Everything's about
Unruly
behaviour.
men.
To raise.
For there are many unruly men, senseless talkers and deceivers, especially those of the circumcision.
So who's the circumcision?
The Jews.
Right. So he's warning us there, especially about who?
The Jews.
Jews.
Knowing the future.
Mm.
What are the
Yeah.
Jews still doing?
Circumcising.
Temple sacrifices, animals.
Still not following the old rituals.
Well, they're not doing them yet, but
Don't
they're
they?
trying. No.
Oh.
You don't hear about Jewish people sacrificing animals in their synagogues, do you?
Not now. It's all.
I didn't know that stopped. Oh, okay. No, I didn't know that.
Well, they might do it apart or outside and have the food, but you know,
Yeah, they're not doing all that blood
It's all
stuff.
it's not going on with the sacrifices and
No,
burning up carcasses and things
No.
yet.
no. That's their plan, though.
Yes, we know that's their plan, that's the way they're going. And their circumcision, what does it mean to Yahuah?
Nothing.
No?
Right. Okay, who's next?
In him you were also circumcised with a circumcision not made with hands, in the putting off.
So the key there is in him.
In him, yeah.
So what does that mean, in
It's
him?
someone that has come into Yahuah.
Yeah.
Mm.
So we're in him, in his body.
Mm.
Yeah. In him,
You were also circumcised with a circumcision not made with hands.
Right, so there's
Physical.
nothing to do with man, is it?
No.
No.
In the putting off of the body of the sins of the flesh.
And what does that say? A putting off of the body of the sins of the flesh.
Burn it up.
So, when you're in Him, you've got to do something about the sins of the flesh, haven't you?
Putting
Yeah.
off of the body of the sins. Putting off your body, which has the sins of the flesh in it.
Body of the sins.
It's behaviour again,
Yeah.
you know?
By the circumcision. Yeah.
By the circumcision of Messiah, having been buried with him in immersion, in which you were also raised with him through the belief in the working of Yahuah.
So we look at that. Having been what?
Buried with him
In.
in immersion.
So what does that mean?
Yeah, why would we connect, why would we start talking about immersion in a statement about circumcision? What have they got to do with each other?
Well, can
Yeah.
you figure it out?
Well, when you're immersed,
It's the cutting off.
And we're talking about the divine operation here,
of the heart.
in the abstract. Also, our spirit is cut out of us. Our heart is cut out of us. They're both replaced,
Yeah.
so we're made clean, so that He can
Amen.
come in.
Well, if you think about it, when you're immersed, the old self dies and is buried.
Yeah.
So therefore, that's what happened with Yahushua. So we do the same thing
So where's the operation done?
in the water.
That's it.
Yeah, people don't face all this, do they?
No.
Having been buried with him in immersion, in which you were also raised with him through the belief in the working of Yahuah.
With a belief, see? If you believe it, it will happen. If you don't believe it,
Nothing.
nothing.
Who raised him from the dead.
Yeah.
And you, being dead in your trespasses and the uncircumcision of your flesh, he has made alive together with him, having given you all trespass, having blotted out the certificate of debt against us by the dogmas which stood against us. And he has taken it out of the way, having nailed it to the stake.
Right. You being dead in your trespasses and the uncircumcision of your flesh. You've been dead in your trespasses and the uncircumcision of your flesh. What does the uncircumcision of your flesh mean?
You weren't an Israelite naturally. You were. This is Paul when he's talking to people out in the nations, Gentile dogs, people who weren't called and weren't chosen,
And believers.
and they showed that through their uncircumcision.
Dead in your trespasses and the uncircumcision of your flesh.
The uncircumcision of your flesh. Being dead in your trespasses. So we were dead before we got immersed.
Yep.
And the uncircumcision of your flesh. So the flesh has to be cut away from sin, doesn't it?
Yeah.
So when we were dead in our trespasses, our hearts were still there, fleshy, hard, not dealt with.
Yeah. And there's no way out except His way.
Yeah.
It's amazing.
That's incredible, isn't it? Just that.
He has made us, He has made alive together with Him, having forgiven you all trespasses. Now, do you face that in your personal life?
Things come up sometimes and you think, oh no, and you don't. No, I don't really all the time.
Everything that you've ever done, this affects me because that's what Lisa wanted. She wanted to be clean and free again.
Yeah.
I told her she could.
Yeah.
So, do you face that you've been forgiven everything you've ever done. If you don't, what is the outcome? If you don't face it, you don't agree with it, you don't believe it, you just don't know, you don't realise.
You live tormented.
Yeah.
You're guilty. You have a guilt when you're...
Demons have a field day.
Yeah, you're not free.
So it's pretty essential that you realise that is going to happen, isn't it?
Yeah. Yeah.
And if you don't recognise it and accept it and be grateful for it, what's going to happen? Torment.
Yeah.
Fall to you.
Yeah.
Definitely.
Having blotted out the certificate of debt against us. So, because we're not living the way Yahushua says, there's a certificate of debt that we owe him for breaking his rules and laws. We're stuck in that. And that's judgment on us all the time. If you go out in the world and you want to make it, you're going to have judgment on you all the time. You look at all the movie stars, all the politicians, everybody, they're getting judged. They get judgment. They get caught out for doing wrong. So his word is prevalent. It achieves what he says. And we see movie stars all being brought down low. All this is happening. Look at Will Smith. How low was he brought?
Yeah, blew it.
And what good is he doing for the black movement by doing that? And slapping his own brother in front of a white audience and other blacks.
Yeah.
So that's a man trying to be something that he's not, being powerful. But he got judged.
Yep.
All instigated by his wife.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And so the debt against us by the dogmas, by the laws, which stood against us, and it still does today. And he has taken it out of the way, having nailed it to the stake. So we get everything that we've ever done that's wrong, it's taken away. But do other people let you have it?
No.
And so how do you react to that? Do you go down and feel bad and guilty? Or you defiant and declare who you are in Yahushua? What he has done is so much more powerful than what they could ever say to you. So that's just wicked. After Yahushua's offered this to a sinner and is releasing them and declaring them free, they come back with judgment. But that judgment has no power if you believe in what you're doing. Yeah? And you have to stand. If you don't take this serious and stand and know who you are in Yahushua and that you are forgiven and that you do have rights. And you don't behave like that, of course, anymore. And which is the process that Yahushua takes us through and cleanses us right out. So none of that's in our flesh. If you don't understand this, how can you go in clearly and freely and know you're going to be released and delivered, like Matthew's getting delivered from the main jail over to the farm. And he's just longing for it, longing to breathe fresh air and not be so confined like he has been. He's had to change his behaviour a lot to be acceptable. What's the class they named him, and he's not that anymore?
Serious offender.
He's not a serious, he was under being a serious offender, so he's taken out of being a serious offender now. That's what happens. Same thing happens with us.
Oh, how wonderful.
So he might get out earlier if his behaviour is really good. You know, so he's not a serious offender now. We've all been serious offenders. You know? So if you don't understand this before you get immersed, you're going to have troubles, aren't you? So we've been immersed before, but that still stands as what it is. But we know if we don't behave, what happens to us. Because we belong to him. He says, put your behaviours on the altar, burn them up, so that you can come into his peace and freedom.
Oh, wonderful point, darling. That's so good.
Well, it's all there, isn't it? I
Yeah.
didn't say it.
Yeah.
As I said to you, Mark, Yahushua's in behind the letter saying, "Can you see me through that letter, Marky? You see me, Victoria, through that letter?
Wonderful.
in the
Your voice is-
abstract?
Thank you, Yahushua.
I'm here. Come on
I
in."
love you.
Yeah,
There's a secret party going in between this text here.
that's it. Why do you
Come
think you just want more and more of it?
Yeah.
You never felt like that about the word.
No.
Never.
No.
But now you're
ink on a page.
insane.
Intoxicated.
Yeah. Okay. Therese, your Romans 2:27.
And the uncircumcised by appearance, who perfect the Torah.
Ah. What about that?
The uncircumcised by
By
appearance.
appearance.
Well, they can work. They can perform the Torah, but they're uncircumcised.
Who perfect?
No. Read on. And the uncircumcised by appearance.
And the uncircumcised by appearance, who perfects the Torah,
Yes.
shall judge you, who despite letter and circumcision are a transgressor of the Torah.
Beautiful.
Yeah, what are you thinking, Mark? Tell us. Don't keep it.
You've got all these sinners, dogs, Gentiles, uncircumcised by appearance because they're not circumcised. They don't take all their pants off. They're not circumcised, but they're perfecting the Torah. They're behaving the right way, as instructed. They shall judge you, who, despite the letter that you've memorized
On the page.
and circumcision, despite all that, you're a transgressor of the Torah.
Okay, so who's this been spoken to?
Jews.
Carpetbaggers.
Anyone.
Yeah.
Who's speaking? Romans.
Paul.
Paul.
Mm.
Okay,
Mm.
so look at that.
Yeah.
What's he saying? Who's going to be the judge? The ones they're judging are going to be judging them.
Mm.
So if you know that, you just shut up and you just go through everything and you know what's going to happen in the end.
Mm.
You'll be judging them
Mm.
who thought they're above you, who look down on you.
Yeah.
You're not scholastic enough.
Mm.
But simple people that get this,
Mm.
Yeah.
Yep.
yeah, for Therese?
For he is not a Yahudi,
Jew.
a Jew, who is so outwardly, neither is circumcision that which is outward in the flesh. But a Jew is he who is so inwardly, and circumcision is that of the heart, in spirit, not literally.
Okay.
That's what I didn't understand. When you put there, this statement is not even mentioned in the King James. I didn't know which statement it meant. The whole scripture or that sentence?
Not literally.
That word, not
See
literally.
what's in inverted commas there?
So that's not in the King James?
No,
Wow.
that's not in the King James. In the Jewish Bible,
Yeah.
they say spiritual, it's not literal but spiritual.
Mm.
And Lou didn't say anything about spiritual, he's just saying not literally in the BYNV. So why would he just put that in there? It's not even in the King James, but so why would he put that in there at this moment in time?
But Lou's put not literally
Yeah,
in the B1B.
yeah. So read it again for yourself.
But a Jew is he who is so inwardly, and circumcision is of the heart,
Yeah.
in spirit. Not,
Circumcision is that of the heart,
yeah,
in spirit,
yeah.
and Lou put not literally. This statement is not even mentioned in the King James,
Mm.
whose praise is not of men, but from Yahuah.
Mm.
So why would he put not literally? So when you go into an immersion, by the divine operation that happens, there should be blood in the water from having your heart cut out of you. And the spirit is cut out of you. Because circumcision means to cut. So why isn't there blood in the water of your old heart that's nailed to the stake?
Because it's not actually a physical operation. It's a spiritual operation.
Well, I think it's both. He says he's put in not literally. Why would you say that?
Well, he's just pointing the reader to say it's not circumcision of your flesh, your willies. But it really is a literal operation.
It is, and
He just doesn't know that.
it's literal and spiritual.
Spiritual.
Have to be a spirit, because he's making us into a spiritual being like him. We get the seed of the spiritual being coming in us, don't we?
Yeah.
Well, because our physical heart is not the issue, it's our spiritual heart. Our physical heart that pumps blood is not the issue. It's the spiritual heart where we think and speak and decision making, and that's the divine operation.
Yeah,
So in
yeah,
that
that's
sense,
what I was
it's
saying. It's not actually a physical operation like you go
Literal.
to
That's
hospital
what he said.
and,
Literal. Yeah.
where
It's a
You know,
spiritual
yeah,
operation.
that's right.
Because he's making us into a different being.
That's right.
We become, with the new heart and the new spirit, a different being. So you were saying Yahuah wants to get closer to his people. So this is how he gets closer.
Yes.
He comes within,
Yeah,
you know. And we have a spiritual operation, a literal spiritual operation. He says not literally.
yeah, which is wrong in that sense.
Well, if he'd said not
Because
Put
he's
in the
talking
King
about-
James.
if he'd said not physically, that would have been okay. But not literally is saying it's not.
It doesn't
real.
happen.
It's not.
Yeah, that doesn't happen. It's
Literally.
basically what he's saying.
So
It
what,
doesn't happen.
what word is he pushing to send us back to the Jewish?
Circumcision.
No?
No.
Literally. Not literally.
No? Well, that's the word. He's saying not literally. It doesn't happen literally. Yet we're saying it is literal and spiritual. But what word does Lou use all the time through the book? Renewed. So it's backing up his doctrine. The word renewed is a word that he's put in there.
Yep. Yeah.
So it's the opposite to new.
Yeah. Totally.
Very interesting.
Okay.
Yeah.
Next one.
So that whose praise is not of men but from Yahuah.
Yeah.
Colossians 3. Therefore put to death your members which are on the earth, whoring, uncleanness, passion, evil desire, and greed of gain, which is idolatry.
So here we have instruction out of the blue to do with circumcision. And what is that telling us to do?
It's not a physical cutting, it's getting rid of the whoring and its behaviour. Get rid of the uncleanness, passion, desire, greed of gain, idolatry.
Yeah, it's all about the behaviour.
Yeah. All that's idolatry. He doesn't want that operating in our flesh, does he? So you've just got instruction there, and that's simple and understanding, and it covers so many areas. Okay, next one.
Was anyone called while circumcised? Let him not become uncircumcised. Was anyone called while not uncircumcised? Let him not be circumcised. The circumcision is nothing, but the guarding of the commands of Yahuah does matter.
Circumcision is nothing.
Does it say that in the
Yeah.
Corinthians?
Circumcision is nothing.
Wow.
So what do we gain from that? What do we understand from that?
It's nothing to do with the new covenant.
Well,
The circumcision of your flesh means absolutely nothing to Yahuah
Yeah.
That's it.
because he does law.
Why would you be encouraging adults and children and everybody to still get circumcised and
They say it's hygienic.
giving links and places where you can go and do it? Why would you want to do that?
Because
Means
you're leading
nothing.
them back to shadows,
Right.
keeping them under you.
Keeping them in your pocket.
Means nothing, circumcision.
And this is all Paul, and you can see why people don't want to listen to Paul. How amazing is he?
Yep.
You're not a real disciple. Why wasn't he? It's amazing.
Yet we can read it today and understand it,
Yeah.
because we know the history in the background, culture.
Yeah.
Okay, Marky, you're on.
Circumcision in the Hebrew means to cut and destroy. So, applying the meaning of this word to the scriptures below, we come to an abstract understanding of a divine operation taking place. In Ezekiel 36, I shall give you a new heart, put a new spirit within you. Does he put the word renew in Ezekiel as well?
No,
No?
you make a mistake.
Funny. I shall give you a new heart, put a new spirit within you. I shall take the heart of stone out of your flesh.
I shall take the heart of stone out of your...
Flesh.
What does that mean? That's the word of Yahuah. Coming through Ezekiel way before
Oh,
Yahushua
it's
even
literally
came.
going to do it.
It's flesh. It's literal. Yeah.
And
I shall give you a heart of flesh and put my spirit within you.
that's the main thing.
And I shall cause you to walk in my laws and guard my right rulings, and you shall do them.
Can't you see now how you wouldn't go near the word?
Yeah.
What are you doing now?
Oh, that's what I live for. It's amazing. I feel like nothing else.
Well, that's what's happening to you, what it says there.
Yeah. Take out the hard heart that despises anything to do with Yahushua and truth, and he puts a soft heart in there.
And you have a wife in the same ministry as you, helping you and working with you.
Wonderful.
Yeah.
And there's way back in Ezekiel's time.
Yeah. Amazing.
Okay?
As discussed in previous videos, upon immersion, the genuine applicant receives a divine operation where their old heart and spirit is cut, circumcised, from their bodies and replaced with a new heart and spirit, literally, spiritually. This is explained in the scriptures above. Also, we must be aware of the doctrines of the Jewish religion who teach that this operation does not happen literally, which opposes the text above. The Jews were the keepers of the words of Yahuah over the centuries, who are described as using the word as a letter, while adding many stipulations and laws to it. We understand that today, Yahuwah's words have been kept for us through this process, and the original words are supposedly underneath the Jewish doctrines of dust. I liked all this bit. This is amazing. The words have been kept for us, but they're underneath the Jewish doctrines of dust. All that is needed is for the wind of the Spirit to blow away the top surface of dust so that we can abstractly see His wonderfulness and truth. The Jews themselves are hiding the fact that when Solomon died, the presence of Yahuwah left the temple, as described in Ezekiel, never to return, because they had broken the covenant between themselves and Yahuwah. The tabernacle and temple with its sacrifices of worship were but shadow teachings and prophecies of Messiah's coming to deliver his chosen people. And when Yahushua came, he fulfilled all prophecies associated with the temple worship and the feasts. He fulfilled them all, which all pointed to Messiah's coming. The miraculous feat in itself, this miraculous feat in itself shows us that Yahushua has moved on from temple worship as he declared the imagery to us, that our bodies are now his dwelling place and temple. This, therefore, leaves behind the everlasting old covenant. This, therefore, leaves behind the everlasting old covenant, because a covenant is only everlasting as long as it is not broken. And the cost of those who break this agreement is the shedding of blood. This happened in the diaspora because of Jewish sin. What's a diaspora?
Scattering.
Scattering, that's right. Yeah. Because of the Jewish sin, yeah. Above, the scripture declares that the circumcision is nothing and means nothing. We are also warned in Titus 1, for there are many unruly men, senseless talkers and deceivers, especially those of the circumcision, the Jews. Yahushua has given us a fulfilled new covenant, a new temple, where sacrifices of correct behavior and praise are offered up to him instead of animals. The Jews do not believe in Yahushua Messiah and have infiltrated the Messianic and Nazarene movements, deceiving everyone into worship of the old covenant behaviors and traditions of their sins. Their behavior and culture means nothing, just like circumcision.
Amen.
How amazing. So true. Old blood.
Yeah.
Well, that makes the win on circumcision.
That's it.
Literally.
And the new blood.
That's it. Wow. Imagine having been an adult going along to something, told you have to get circumcised. How angry would you be?
He was revealing in that word how Yahushua has what he's done literally in emotion. The new heart just brings forth the miraculous thing that he's done in us. It's just wonderful.
And who should you watch out for?
Those are circumcised, senseless talkers.
And deceivers.
Yes.
That's what they are.
Mm.
Senseless talkers and deceivers.
Yeah.
And we and our brothers and sisters have to make up our own minds within ourselves what that is, what those carpetbaggers are. We have to make up our own mind and understand not to listen. They're trying to take us back into an old covenant, which has already been fulfilled by the Messiah. They want us to do traditions and follow their dogmas, ignoring Yahushua's words.
It's so exciting. I can just see how we've been right on a lot of things for so long, but because we came out of Christianity, 30, 40 odd years of that, and came into this, and we wanted the truth was wrapped up, like you said, it was all with the dust of all the Hebrew stuff on top of it, the Jewish stuff was on top of it. We had to learn all of it together, and we didn't mind doing it because we were so anti-Christianity because of all that madness. But then when you come full circle and you realise where the Jews and the Messianics and Nazarene want to take you back into the Jews, you think, we actually had it right when we were in Christianity. It is new. Of course, Christianity does it through idolatry. It's replaced, it's new, it's sun worship. If you take that bit out, it is new. Completely new.
All those things have to be taken out of our flesh and receive the pure word. Remember he said he's going to make us have a pure lip? This is the pure lip, the truth.
Amazing.
So you've got all those distractions going on, saying, no, you're wrong, no, you're wrong. Well, as believers, we just have to say, poo-poo to you who, because I'm going on, I'm not coming under your unscriptural dogmas. I refuse it. And not worry, not be hurt, not be upset, but keep seeking for more and revealing the wickedness. That's what we're doing with all our talks, all our videos, bringing the truth. You have to explain it to those whose minds are trapped in what the carpetbaggers have taught them. And there's another freedom beyond that, because Yahushua's not religious. The Jewish religion is a covenant that's been broken, and he's left their presence.
Yeah, there's no presence.
And this truth is not being preached by teachers today.
No.
They want to steer everybody back to the Jews. If you're going to do it, brothers and sisters, you can have it. I'm not going there. No way.
No.
Not at all.
It wasn't. It's not a Jewish covenant. It's not a Jewish belief. It's not a Jewish commandments.
His reign.
It's not Jewish commandments written on our hearts. It's got nothing to do with Jewish. They're just the people he chose to use. Why? Why did he call us? He has a reason. Nothing to do with culture
now.
Yeah.
No culture.
No culture.
No religion.
So our job now is to read the scripture and try and pull out. What's the opposite to inject?
Egypt.
Pull out the truth from, like you said, underneath all the dust of, pull out the truth behind all the
Get
muck.
rid. You want to remove all the rubbish and get to the word.
The wind of the Spirit blows it away.
Yeah, amazing. And that's a reason to read scripture.
That could be a song too, couldn't
The
it?
wind of the Spirit. There's a wind blowing.
Okay, brothers and sisters, hope you've enjoyed our chat. We love you.
Love you guys.
Bye.